Hey guys, I'm going to start a video today. I'm going to go into the first 100 days that Donald Trump talked about, things he promised, things that he's doing, things that he's not doing. Let's get into it. The asylum system was overhauled. Trump's policy now blocks most immigrants from applying if they pass through another country first. It's one of the toughest asylum policies in the U.S. history.
The administration has already shut down the CBP One app, and also canceled people who were expecting to have these asylum hearings before entering the United States. President Trump has said he's reinstating his stay in Mexico policy in his first term. How might that impact what we're seeing happening on the border?
Yeah, so basically, he has shut down the asylum process in the United States. You know, we said, and you and I have talked about this, we said after World War II that we would never send people back to danger without at least screening them. There is no asylum at the U.S. border now, no matter how much danger you're in, whether you're in for religious persecution, being threatened for religious persecution, political speech persecution, you're in grave danger. There is no longer any asylum. I mean, it is a very dangerous situation that we're putting people in. And you mentioned the CBP One appointment. That was at least something President Biden left open. So we have clients who tried to comply with that, waited 5 months for an appointment in dangerous conditions in Mexico, spent almost their entire life savings trying to remain in Mexico till they got an appointment. Finally had an appointment for this Saturday, canceled. So we are going to be back in court tomorrow to make sure that she gets her appointment unless the government agrees to give it to her.
These guys are totally full of shit. I don't even want to hear them and their stories. Their stories are told over and over and over again. They'll use one person and we're supposed to go crazy and start crying. And I don't buy it. I just don't buy their bullshit. There's ways to come in and there's ways not to come in. You can cry and piss and moan all you want. You can get 2, 3, 5, 10, 100 people who we would all sympathize with, including me. But we're not talking about 100 people. He's talking about 100, but he's blanketing that by 20 million people coming in. You want to keep it open for those 100 people. In the meantime, 20 million people are coming in. No, we're shutting the border to 20 million people. Those 100 people, 50 people, whatever it is, one person he's talking about, they could find a way in, or they could find a way around it, go to somewhere else and work on it. You can't just walk in. You're using that example to make us feel bad. And that's all bullshit. So I don't want to even hear it.
Is Donald Trump going to try to deport asylum seekers? So I'm talking about people who have an asylum claim pending. You've already applied for asylum. Are you at risk of getting picked up and jailed and deported? I don't think you have to worry about that, at least not yet. Based from everything we've seen and heard, there's no indication that they're going to start going after asylum seekers, people who've already applied for asylum, whether your case is pending in immigration court or at the asylum office with USCIS. I think you're okay. I do think as of right now that they're going to let that case run its course, all right? That they're not going to come and just pick you up and try and deport you. Look, there's pressure for the Trump administration to deport criminals, people with a criminal record or a final order of deportation. That's the low-hanging fruit. That's who they're going after first. It's going to take a long time to work through those. I think for now, at least, you're okay if you've got an asylum claim pending.
Here's a lawyer, you heard the opposite side, and I agree with this lawyer 100%. That's my opinion. You're not going to get thrown out. You'll be an asylum person, and you'll have your case. And they use this argument of the 1 or 2 or 3 or 100 people that have this problem to let 20 million people in. It's a lie. We're not that stupid. Nobody's going to throw out those people. This lawyer is right. You have a case, we'll hear it. If it's granted, you'll become a citizen. If not, go back where you came from. So there is a process. Trump is not taking that process away. But those other ones are crying to just let 20 million people in. They're lying to us. We just have to understand that. Whether it's this lawyer, the Democratic Party, some of these twisted-ass judges, they're lying to us. I think we're smart enough to know the difference, and it's got to stop. Trump created a whole new department called DOGE and put Elon Musk in charge.
We will defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of American families. We're cutting down government. We're cutting down the size of government. We have to. We're bloated. We're sloppy. We have a lot of people that aren't doing their job. We have a lot of people that don't exist.
Elon Musk and DOGE. Everyone knows that there's wasteful government spending. It's really important. But the cuts have had some serious consequences. There have been cuts to foreign aid programs that save lives and keep people alive overseas. There's been research at the National Institutes of Health on cancer, on Alzheimer's, that has had to be stopped. And the question I think people have is, did DOGE go too far, too fast, too reckless?
No, I think DOGE has been, look, saved $150 billion. We saved, that's a lot of money. There's also a lot of things right now under investigation, which is going to increase that amount by a lot. That's a tremendous amount of money. There were some things where, when I heard about them, I put them back, as you know. There are things that I'm considering right now putting back, but overall we've saved hundreds of billions of dollars.
Well, the original promise was $2 trillion, went to $1 trillion, now to $150 billion, and heading south.
You don't know what it's going to be, because we have things that are at a very high level that are being looked at right now. We also found tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse, as you know. We found a lot of fraud. There was a lot of fraud. Fraudulent things were taking place, and we ended that, and those people are going to be suffering because of it.
A legal note, fraud is a crime. There have been no referrals to the Justice Department on any.
Well, you don't know that, do you? How do you know that?
Have there been referrals to the, are there criminal referrals?
How would you know that there were no referrals? I think there were referrals.
They generally are. There's been no investigation from the Justice Department. How do you know that? I'm asking you, sir.
No, you're not asking me. You made a statement. You're not
now I'm asking you.
That was a statement that you made. There have been.
I'm asking you.
Have there been? Yes, there have.
So there have been referrals for fraud from the work of DOGE.
Of course there have been. Take a look at some of these things that took place. Billions of dollars were given to people for no reason whatsoever.
Trump made an ass out of this guy, news guy. He don't know what he's talking about. He wasn't asking a question. He made a statement. It's clear as a bell. Trump is right. You know, it's a shame that the news, I remember as a kid, or when I was young, the news was gospel. You would believe anything they said because they always went after the truth. Today, they're bought, lock, stock, and barrel. Big Pharma gives them money and they say whatever they want them to say. The Democrats give them money, this one gives them money, and they're robots. They don't tell the truth. You have to listen to programs like Patrick McDavid, Joe Rogan, and on and on and on to hear the truth. It's a shame.
Detractors, Mr. Musk.
I have to what?
Including a lot of Democrats.
I have detractors?
You do, sir.
I don't believe it.
Say that you're orchestrating a hostile takeover of government and doing it in a non-transparent way. What's your response to that criticism?
Well, first of all, you couldn't ask for a stronger mandate from the public. The public voted, we have a majority of the public voting for President Trump. We won the House, we won the Senate. The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally. The people voted for major government reform, and that's what the people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for. And a lot of times, that people that don't get what they voted for, but in this presidency, they are going to get what they voted for, and that's what democracy is all about.
Well, Musk, I think he's a very, very smart guy. When the people are knocking him, and he's doing the right thing. He's helping. This guy didn't do one thing smart, he's a genius. He did 5 things smart. They wanted electric cars, he's created it. They want to go to the moon, he's responsible for not creating it, but helping it happen. This is a guy who's done unbelievable things. And now he's doing the same thing with DOGE. And we just want to knock him like he's a lunatic. No, he's a genius. He talks a little funny sometimes, but that's how geniuses are. We should praise him. Things that he's doing for our country, he don't have to do it, and he's not trying to steal your money. He's the richest guy on the planet. He doesn't need your $18 or $200 or $2,000. He's doing this, putting himself at risk. And there's people knocking him because he's bringing out with his intelligence of where the money was stolen, the waste, the incompetence, everything like that. He should be cheered and loved. But they brainwash you, the news media and everybody else, to attack him, to attack his cause. It's incredible. The Democrats wanted electric cars. When he was putting it, they loved him. Now they hate him, and they're trying to hurt his company with the electric cars. And random people's cars and car dealers, they're not him. They own a car dealer company. They buy his cars. They own it. You're hurting them. You're knocking people out of business. Or you're smashing up somebody's car who bought a car. It's his car. It has nothing. You're not hurting him. You're hurting the person who bought the car. So it just shows you with animals and how stupid they are. I think DOGE is a great thing, and I'm sure, here's my opinion of that, is that Trump, when he saves all, when it goes into trillions, I guarantee you that he's going to stop different taxes that ain't necessary. Giving money away all over the place. Watch, he'll give it back to the people. People who are broke, people who are middle class, he'll cut their taxes. He's already doing some of that already. So the more he gets back, the less taxes, he's going to help the whole country. So DOGE knocked out 100 employees. The monies that they're saving will put tens of thousands on DOGE, on a plus, and a couple of hundred negatives on this side. So pick what side you want. Trump always promised tough trades. In 2025, he slapped 25% tariffs on goods from Canada and Mexico and raised China's tariffs to 20%. That's a big hit on imports and a big move to shift manufacturing back home.
A tariff is a tax on a foreign country. That's the way it is, whether you like it or not. A lot of people like to say, oh, it's a tax on us. No. It's a tax on a foreign country. It's a tax on a country that's ripping us off and stealing our jobs.
The tariffs against China to get them to the negotiating table. Those tariffs are staying on.
Why would I do that?
Would you lower them?
At some point, I'm going to lower them because otherwise you could never do business with them.
Yeah.
And they want to do business very much. Look, their economy is really doing badly. Their economy is collapsing.
We still have 145% tariffs on China. Your Treasury Secretary said we basically have an embargo on China.
Look, you're trying to say something's going to happen, Terry.
No, okay, well,
nothing's going to happen.
You know business.
Terry,
I want to ask you.
I do know business.
Yes,
and
so 145% tariffs on China, and that is basically
That's
an
good.
embargo.
They deserve it.
It'll raise prices on
They
everything
deserve
from
it.
electronics to clothing to building houses.
You don't know that. You don't know whether or not China's going to eat it.
That's mathematics.
China probably will eat those tariffs, but at 145, they basically can't do much business with the United States.
Trump is now placing 100% tariffs on movies made in foreign countries, and no one really knows why or what this means, but also, how do you tariff a movie? But as far as Trump, he says that he's doing this because the movie industry in America is dying, and saying that that's because countries are trying to get studios to film in their country with tax incentives that pose a national security threat. Now, it is true that some countries like the UK and Australia, they offer tax incentives to studios if they film there, for instance, the new Avengers movie that'll be filmed in the UK. But Marvel and Disney, they're still American companies based in California, and the majority of movies are still shot in the US. And even with the big blockbuster movies that film abroad, everything besides the filming, it's still done in America largely. And so people saying, it's not clear why Trump might think the Avengers filming in the UK is a national security risk, especially as movies are very much an American industry. In 2023, for example, American movies accounted for 70% of all global film revenue, something that's been viewed as great for us economically, but also it has unprecedented soft power. Great art is an extension of ourselves or an area, so it naturally contains American themes and it spreads around the world. It's part of why so many people people say that American culture is more or less the default global culture. It's just so dominant that it feels normal. And so regarding the tariff threat, you have industry experts saying that the U.S., it should offer tax incentives to get filming back. Right? If that's what this is really about, that accomplishes it better than putting tariffs on films not made in the U.S., because that can open Pandora's box for very little gain. Currently, foreign films just don't pose a threat to American films at the box office, so placing a tariff on them is just kind of asking for a problem. And if we saw countries retaliate, this would destroy Hollywood and American influence, and it could also move the global trade war from goods to services. Which, if there is a big point and a key takeaway here, the U.S. economy is 76% services, so that's something that would be brutal. And this is a thing that's kind of been buried by the nonsense and the chaos, but America, it's the biggest exporter of services in the world, and it has a trade surplus with most of the world when services are accounted for. But for now, follow to stay in the loop.
I think tariffs on movies are a mistake. They can go anywhere they want to make a movie. I think that if he really wanted to help Hollywood, and they're getting hurt by all these movies made in different countries, but if he really wanted to help them, it's not with tariffs, it's with incent states the right to give them tax breaks if they make it here. A tax break if they make it here in the United States. Hollywood wouldn't go to those countries, they'd stay right here and make films right here because they got a tax break. Why would they go to another country? It's all about money in Hollywood. So it's simple. I think the tariffs is a waste, is a dumb move. I think giving them an incentive, like there are states that have it. They have one in here, in Arizona. New Mexico, yes, they have breaks over there if you want to do movies. There's different places that do it. Increase those benefits for them, and they'll make more movies here. Matter of fact, some other countries would come here and make their movies because we have the talent, whether it's camera people, sound people, lighting people, actors, actresses. They can bring their own actors. If the incentive was to do it here, that's enough. You don't need tariffs.